Imagine waking up strapped to this chair in a soundproof room, a table of torture tools and a masked man beside you. That is exactly what was planned for several people in the Netherlands by 6 men who were part of the narco trafficking underworld of Europe. This is the story of how they were caught and what police found at their compound. Early in the spring of 2020, European police were cracking into an encrypted communication network used by organized crime to make deals and delivery arrangements for a variety of illegal substances. Encrochat sold phones that had been modified to allow for what they claimed was untraceable communication with an unbreakable encryption starting in 2016 and ending in 2020. They charged a hefty fee for their messaging service. Their 10,000 British users paid £1,500 per 6 months, and it can be assumed that their 50,000 other users paid a similar fee. But of course, their security claims were going to be proven to be exaggerations. Once a team of French police were able to intercept the messages in April of 2020, they found something far more extreme than narcotics. 6 men were discussing their plans to commit a most heinous crime, the kidnapping and torture of their rivals or their rivals' families. In one message as they discussed their targets, one member of the gang said, "There are few now, and I hope I get the chance to torture them." Another said, "If they don't cooperate, right in the knee," and I think it's obvious what he meant. There were also pictures of what was being referred to as the treatment room of their EBI, the acronym for Dutch secure prisons. Other messages were quite direct, discussing how they must have enough belts and tie wraps to tie them, and one saying outright, "We need cutting pliers for fingers and toes." The leader of the group was a 50-year-old man who was an infamous trafficker known only as Roger P., or his alias Piet Costa. His network had grown so large that he was described in court as the CEO of a pharmaceutical company. The fact that his identity is still concealed after being found guilty seems very bizarre, as is the vagueness on much of the coverage of this case. There are also outright inaccuracies throughout some of the reporting, such as the claim that the 7 shipping containers had been set up to get rid of a man named Willem Enstra of Dubai. Initially, this makes sense as he was a player in the European underworld acting as a banker. Just one problem, he was assassinated in 2004. At any rate, what we do know about this case is what police found on June 22nd of 2020. They used information that they had gleaned from Encrochat to locate the facility that they had seen pictured in private messages. The torture chamber was determined to be in a warehouse in Wouwsplantage, a small village in the Netherlands near the Belgium border. Inside the rural warehouse, police found 7 shipping containers. Each had been soundproofed and rigged with cameras. 6 were designed as holding cells with toilets and handcuffs attached to the floor and ceiling. The 7th had a dentist chair that had handcuffs for the ankles and straps for the arms. Along with the horrific torture chamber, police found bags filled with an assortment of instruments including scalpels, hammers, pliers, torches, and pruning shears. There was also a cement mixing tub that was going to be used for waterboarding and a freezer large enough to hold multiple bodies. At a separate location in Rotterdam, police raided what had been described as a staging area for the gang's arrest team. At that location, they found police uniforms, bulletproof vests, as well as blue lights used to impersonate police. The sweep also arrested 6 men, including Piet Costa. Despite the terrifying plans that the men had put into action, the punishments they received seemed light, and the concealment of their identities seems like far too favorable treatment from the authorities. By 2022, there would be 11 convictions related to the case ranging from 1 to 9 years. Costa himself got an additional sentence that made his 12 years still light for a convicted trafficker arrested in a kidnapping and torture plot. Other than their sentences and that one has since passed away due to cancer, we know little about the gang or its leader, just that they were truly evil people who had been able to build a small criminal empire and that they had been willing to commit the most heinous atrocities, but also that they will all soon be free.